What's up, guys? Make sure you guys hit that like button right now. Tap that like. If you guys haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. All right, today I'm gonna go over Gamma and what I look for during the day on Gamma, and that's kind of my overall strategy. Their strategy has helped me out a ton compared to how I used to watch it a couple months back. I was really into it, tried to do it for stocks, tried to do it for futures, kind of overcomplicated things. So the best thing I like to do is kind of dumb it down, and I'll show you how that is. So this left is your XPX Gamma. Okay. XPX Gamma. Over here is your Delta. Gamma is basically like the volume and open interest added up with a bunch of calculations, just showing overall what strike has the most exposure. Mostly it's going to be possibly retail, so I always look for the most valuable contract, or I'm trying to switch up the name to be almost hit, kind of pivoted, or be barely hit. Could go three different things. Delta is if they are net long or net short at that strike. So in conjunction, I like to use them with net drift to kind of figure out what where the overall direction is going in the market. So today was definitely a little struggle. You probably heard me in VC a couple times saying, you know, DEX deltas aren't really helping a lot, and that's why we kind of overall chopped. But I found over time that 9:45, 10:30, and noon are probably the best to watch. I might switch it to 11:30 instead of noon, just because I'm gone at noon. So I always try to look for 9:45. You know, sometimes I send stuff out saying that it's early data. That just means it could change. You know, the first 15 minutes, a lot of XPX 0 days are gonna come in. So this is 0 days, and it's based on 0 days. So September 8th today we had 6520 and kind of 6470. Kind of watch it, but we also had 6500. You can tell we kind of had a little peak here. Of course, 6500 has been a battle, so I definitely want to mark both those up. I'll do it on a different screen, and then at the end I'll show you. I'll try to throw back the different screens. So it's 6500, 6520. Definitely looking for head up that 6520. Was a decent move. I call it Gamma Flip. A lot of people call it Gamma Zero. Is going to be where Gamma flips from green to red. Sometimes you'll see it's kind of hard to notice, so I kind of don't record it. So you have right now it's 75 to 80. I think later in the day was 90 to 85. So if I see it move and kind of overall structure of this, I'll definitely move it. But you know, at 9:45, we're looking at if SPX 6500 could be broken, we'd like to see it go to 6520. If not, we'll have to go to the Gamma Flip, see if we flip, and we'll see 6470 and farther down. So we mark that up. At 9:45, we hit 6500. I'll just bring over XPX right here. We bought over, 6500 rejected once, 65 rejected twice. This Gamma Flip's not here, so just move it out of the way. But we did eventually break above 6500. We got to like 6510. Didn't get all the way up, which, seeing how strong the 6500 and overall market being above 6500, squeezing above it, getting above it's definitely going to be tough. It's going to be interesting if we're able to overall hold that. So that was at 10:30. We're going to look at net drift. Also, I like to watch net drift. This is 0 days. and I kind of have a filter on it with canceled trades are excluded, complex trades, so there's no iron condors and all that into the net drift. Floor trades are excluded. 0 days out of the money, XPX, and volume has to be greater than 100. I don't really want all the people buying one contract at a time. So overall, 945. Definitely, we did see chop, but overall, calls are winning. Calls actually stayed positive the whole day, so that's just relate to that overall. So there was no data, so let's see what 1030 is like. Actually, let's go back. We want to see how Delta was too. Delta definitely showing at 945 strong bullish Delta. Their net long to 65.25. Of course, over time you can tell that kind of changed when it didn't want to hold above 6,500. We have, let's see, kind of high day was 1112 and 1132. I kind of remember that. 1030, definitely we were at underline was right around 6,500. So we're still battling at 6,500. You can tell kind of more exposure to the upside. Exposure is kind of interesting because sometimes if we do squeeze above, but also you want to see, you know, if the most exposure here, that's a contract they kind of don't get in the money. They don't want people to profit from this because with options, you know, the market makers or the whales are selling XPX. They're, you know, that's how they make their money. They don't want the most exposure to be hit. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So 1030 was kind of looking the same. I'm going to go to 11, even though I don't check 11. I want to kind of see when it's flipped. It's bearish. 11, you can tell like right at 11. Some upside started coming down. 1130. Still looking overall bullish. 6,500 turned red. So we're kind of getting some downside, and then let's look at noon. Trying to figure out when we just go to where Delta start there. 1221. What SPX 1221. Right around here. That's when we started seeing some negative Delta. Go to 1221 here. You can tell at that time, see how much bigger the downside is. 6480. Our low a day was about 6480. That's why I had this marked up here. They're short 6485, so they're not short 6085. Those net shorts for them actually were really good because they got in the money. And then I kind of want to see around 210. Looking more bearish. We're going to see the reaction of when we can't. So it doesn't really look good to the upside. I guess Delta's had to flip. Look at that flip. See 1035, 1012, 1019. So 1024 to 1032 was a huge flip. 1024, horizontal line. And 32 was a huge flip. Interesting spot because we actually came down broke above. But later in the day, I don't really, you know, that's why I try to like just showing you that kind of like, okay, why did we go long at 10:32? Didn't make any sense. That's why I stick to 12 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Net bullish at 12. 12 o'clock was right here. And we're looking for 6520, but the overall narrative from today was 6500 could not hold. So yes, to the upside would have been good, and it should have been good. So it's actually today probably was a gamma loss. You know, gamma didn't really look good. Let's look at let's go over Friday because Friday looked a lot better. No, it doesn't always win. That's one thing you always gotta realize. Some days I'm like, yeah, nope. This one Friday. The 5th, we had the Iron Condor, downside, side 945. We hit that upper side already, kind of opened up right there. Deltas were net long, but of course we hit this. We kind of rejected it open. So when we open up that much to the upper most valuable contract, I don't like to take it. So we're looking kind of see if we get that flip. See if we get more downside. See if deltas start turning negative. We tell 10:30. 10:30. We're looking at 64.55. 10:30 was right here. Price was 64.74, so 64.35. Goes down there, but still made a decent amount. And then low day, let's kind of watch the IC kind of at 11:30, 12. See how that looked. So we kind of hit that lower and bounced. You can tell both sides of that exposure. Let's do 12. So I like to stick to just the times I look at. Because these things are 0 days. They can flip back and forth, back and forth. And then here's kind of what looked like not the best. You know, I want to see one direction on this. A lot of exposure to the downside. They're gonna try to have these go to 0, and that's what they did. But it's on Iron Condor. Was not drift. It was bearish the whole time. So overall, there today, caught that nice move down. But that's pretty much it. I try to, you know, kind of use these as PTs. They could flip on an instant, which is the hard part. But when you see them all line up, net drift, delta, gamma, which today should have, but that 6500 rejection at open kind of invalidated all. You'll see some nice moves. You'll definitely see, you know, almost low a day bounces, you know, going back. I don't think most valuable contracts have been really good because we had the Iron Condor all last week. 9045 was up here. We didn't hit. Opening. Kind of got just contained in between recently. It does help if I see a big one like to the downside and nothing to the upside. You know, that's where I kind of look. Oh, we're maybe a little bearish today. If I see all the exposure to the top, I'm like, well, maybe we're bullish. But that's gonna be it. Just my main thing is just to keep it simple. Use delta. Use gamma. Net drift. Huge on net drift flips and overall bias in the market. helps with orbs. No, when you use those and kind of keep it simple, just use those big levels as PTs. I believe it works out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Appreciate you guys.